The ANC's National Executive Committee wrapped up yesterday, and the party's highest decision-making body says it's concerned about instability in municipalities as a result of motions of no confidence. The party also discussed its election manifesto, the electricity crisis and high employment, among other things. And at the same time, ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa also engaged members of the media. And for some reaction from the NEC meeting, we're joined by political analyst Professor Susan Booysen. Good morning to you, and thank you for your time. Just in looking at the ANC ahead of the 2024 general election, what is the posture in your view? Is this a party that has reformed, that has renewed, that has united in your view?
Yes, there are definitely many efforts to portray the ANC in that light. We hear so many good intentions, we hear of plans, we hear strategies, we hear narratives. The ANC must and should, and there will be action, etc. However, I think that is where the ANC will have to prove itself to the electorate come next year's elections, is that there is sufficient, not just hope for turnaround, but evidence of turnaround, definitive action on many fronts, not just talks about the construction mafia will deal with, or we shall follow up, or Minister Beki Cwele promising action, but actually concrete action on the ground. So that is, I believe, the big challenge for the ANC moving towards 2024 elections.
Yeah, but the national voter base, because you cannot really erase a 117-year history that is founded on the liberation movement and the Mandela magic and all of those things, to necessarily say, look, this is a weak ANC, and as it is, we see that the predators, which is now your opposition, are likely to take the majority out of what is a glorious movement.
That is such a predicament for the ANC. And the ANC, of course, goes into these elections too with a huge advantage of that century plus of liberation struggle history. And we see so many reminders daily of the ANC and its links to that struggle and its possible links into the mass democratic movement, the UDF of the 1980s and early 90s, and trying to work with that history and that memory. And that is a big advantage that the ANC, of course, has over any opposition parties. And it definitely is doing its best to keep that alive. But on a daily basis, we see that legacy, that history, battling for supremacy over the more daily experiences and last few decades of experiences with insufficient, imperfect government.
And yes, Prof, what do you make of the Secretary General, Fikile Mbalula, essentially saying that imitation is the best form of flattery because the splinter groups, in quotes, the EFF had taken the slogan, economic freedom in our lifetime, and now they even have to go begging for coalition votes with the opposition because the ANC had created all these splinter groups. Does that, in your view, suggest that they have conceded defeat in certain areas, that your EFF and the likes are likely to come up stronger in the local government elections next year?
No, we definitely see opposition parties trying to make hay of the ANC's weaknesses, and so many efforts coming about daily. And the narratives are a big part of it. Economic well-being, economic liberation, those are themes that are going to be with us for a very long time. And the ANC should actually also thank the EFF, I believe, for having forefronted the radical economic transformation and the need for that. It has become very ingrained in ANC narratives, in ANC arguments, to the extent that the ANC is really, in a time where the ANC had moved more into liberal economic directions, combined with social security, a really mixed type of economy, but where the ANC needed to remind people on the ground of its good intentions. And there, the ANC in the last period in the ANC. We see it in ANC policy conference declarations, ANC conference resolutions. It has really been forefronting the idea of radical economic transformation much more than it had in the years preceding that. So it really goes mutually.
All right, Prof, thanks so much for your time. I was still going to squeeze in one quick one. You may have seen the headline suggesting that there is a plot to oust the new minted deputy president. Your view?
Yes, indeed. You know, plots, accusations, allegations of plots and conspiracies are so central in ANC top-level politics. If I do account correctly, this is about the 8th one since 2001, when Thabo Mbeki via late Steve Tshwete accused series of high-profile people, including Cyril Ramaphosa, of plotting to unseat him. We've seen so many of these allegations of plots. It's really part of the ANC repertoire at that level, high-level presidential level, deputy presidential level, where when it's time for succession, when it's time for confirmation of candidacies coming into the future, and with Paul Mashatile now making those allegations, that I would say is part of the territory. And so are denials that anything like that is unfolding. But yes, ANC is no stranger at that level to allegations. And sometimes realities, sometimes just allegations, because those who are making the allegations, like this case, it would be Paul, Deputy President Mashatile, it makes opposition, it makes attacks look illegitimate, it makes them look sinister as if there are underhanded tactics unfolding, but it's all political tactics and strategy.
We really appreciate your time, and we hope you're keeping warm where you are, Prof. Thanks indeed. We're speaking to political analyst Professor Susan Booysen just on the reaction of the NEC ANC outcomes over the past week.